Hey, Happy New Year! I'm Ton Vin, and this is Seattle Eats, a food podcast from the Seattle Times and KUOW. Our town was made for soup. The gray days of December, the dampness of March, we dive through cauldrons of steaming bowls of pho and ramen. Why not udon, a thick wheat noodle served in a light dashi broth? Winter is a perfect time for a big bowl of udon, and you can find it all around Seattle. Like at Azuki in Madison Valley, where you can get udon made by hand. Today, we're revisiting one of our favorite episodes. You guessed it, the udon scene in Seattle. Plus, I'll tell you about all the good budget-friendly udon spots around town. But first, let's head to Azuki to see how Chef Ryuji Miyata makes his udon and what he does to make it so good.
Go to the dining.
Okay. We sit down in the dining room of his noodle house. 2 rooms with a handful of small tables. The menu is written on a chalkboard, hanging on the back wall. Chef Miyata sells 18 different udon soups. The bowls are one size, ranging from $20 to $28, which might sound pricey for a bowl of soup until you see the work that goes into making just one bowl. He places a huge dish in front of me. For people who can't see this, the width of this bowl is the size of a large Domino's pizza, like a serving bowl you would see at a Chinese restaurant, doing family style. And this is a meal for one. This is a signature beef udon. It's got dashi broth with a pile of wheat noodles, sauteed beef, and some pickled mustard greens, onion, and fried burdock root. Oh man, I'm tasting a lot of brininess, like a lot of briny Japanese umami. Before we get into the star of the show, his famous noodles, I want to talk about his broth. So chef, the broth, tell me what is this secret sauce? What is in this broth?
The main stuff is bonito flake, dried skipjack tuna, and then kelp, and then dry mushroom, shiitake mushroom, dry anchovy, chicken feet, little bit. And then this is a 2-day process.
Tell me, why does it take 2 days? That's a long time for one broth.
Yes. Basically, in Japan, kelp in the cold water, and then boiling up, and then out of the dried fish. That's the processing. But this still not enough umami for American people because they eating strong flavor a lot every day. That's why I make another soup.
To give it more depth and more fat and flavor. And I see why, because in America, Americans love bone broth, like pho and ramen. So, and this is very delicate. Dashi is much more delicate, isn't it?
When I started this business, a lot of people, no taste.
See, this is what I think the problem is in the U.S. We have trouble selling for a delicate broth. I've seen people add soy sauce and hot sauce to their udon. That's food vandalism. When you do that, it just mucks up the flavor. It ruins a 2-day broth. And that's a shame. Okay, onto this beef. So tell me, how did you marinate this beef?
I don't marinate. When got the order, start to cook.
Oh, you don't marinate the beef?
No.
Oh, so you just simmer with the flavor. Why not marinate?
Kind of Japanese style. Marinate means losing the freshness. It's more flavor, but losing freshness from the red meat to the bowl. But other Chinese or Korean or a lot of marinade and a lot of the spiciness, but this is not.
Yeah, and that's what I love about this. I think it's just really tight and it's clean. The flavor very sharp. You don't have to be a super taster. If you are blindfolded, you eat this, you can tell, okay, this is beef. You can tell, okay, this is noodle, chewy, fresh noodle.
Exactly.
And you taste the broth, you can tell it has a very fishy, bright flavor that's very fresh. Yes. And all components, just 3 components, just come together. And it's just a masterful bowl. Nicely done.
Yeah, you have a lot of words, but I cannot explain. Taste the beef, tastes like a beef. The wheat tastes like wheat. Have to be like that.
Yeah. These noodles are unlike any udon I've tasted in Seattle. Fresh, thick, but chewy. The first time I had this, I slurped the noodle and I knew this was special. It was so firm and pliant. And for people who can't see this, it's like the size of a bucatini noodle al dente. It holds its shape. When you go to other udon places, what happened is the noodle is so limp that it just falls apart. So chef, can you show me how you make this?
Yes.
We walk over to the kitchen where he takes out these huge blocks of dough. Heavy and dense. They look like large squares of tofu. Tofu square, yeah.
Only flour and the salt water.
Oh, wow. So it looks like a pizza dough.
But no yeast, nothing.
No yeast.
Nothing. Much harder than the pizza dough.
Making udon noodles is a long process. After he mixes all the ingredients, the dough rests for 2 hours. Then he rolls it into a ball, and it rests again for another 2 hours. Finally, it's ready to get rolled and shaped into noodles. The dough is tough and thick. He plops it down the table and starts kneading it, pushing down on the dough with his whole body. This is a good workout. You don't need a gym membership.
It's hard.
After 5 minutes, he grabs a long wooden stick that he bought from Home Depot. Then he starts rolling out the dough. 20 minutes later...
Okay.
Chef, this is insane. This is 20 minutes in.
Yeah.
We're still rolling one ball of dough here.
Yeah. Like about 20 minutes every day for one.
He knows it's done when the flat dough is around the size of a baking sheet and a few millimeters thick. No measurements, all feel. Born from thousands of hours working over the dough. Cutting board? Then he slices the sheet of dough on a giant cutting board to get the noodles ready to boil.
Okay. Then.
So where'd you get the recipe for this noodle?
This is totally original. From my memory, when I was a kid, I ate udon noodle. I tried to remember the taste, texture.
Chef Miyata grew up on Shodo Island in the Kagawa Prefecture in Japan. There are 600 udon restaurants in Kagawa, a hotbed for udon. So when did you move to the United States?
I got 99, 25 years ago. Some restaurant called me to come as sous chef. I was sous chef in Japan.
After moving to Seattle, he worked as a sushi chef at a handful of Japanese restaurants. But after a few decades, he wanted to try something else.
Because one of the reasons is I'm getting older. I want to do something different. It became my dream to open udon restaurant.
At the time, when he was thinking about opening an udon restaurant, there weren't that many in Seattle. Everyone was doing ramen or pho.
Yeah, also a lot of sushi restaurant too. But udon noodle, still the other people doesn't know. Okay, I can do that.
I've seen you make it by hand. It's so torturous, long process. It's not very efficient. Why do you not use machine to make udon and make your life easier?
Because I say teuchi udon.
Teuchi udon means handmade udon in Japanese.
I want to say handmade udon.
Because it's a work of art, making udon. And it would not be the same it was machine made. It would not be the same craftsmanship.
Exactly. The machine, just turn on switch, watch the lever or something. It's not like a craft.
And this is more craftsmanship. It's artisanal because that means something to you.
Yeah, but already a lot of people told me it's not good for the business. Money.
It's not good to make it by hand because it's not efficient. That's what people are telling you, right?
Takes time. You're going to be tired. Yeah, a lot of people told me same thing. You're going to make money. No. Even no money, I want to do this. Yeah.
This is true love, huh? Why do you like making udon noodle?
I love to eat. And then I couldn't find it only frozen or dry. Okay, only one way I can make by myself. But when I start to make noodle for the restaurant, it's now almost a meditation. It's in my head too much thing inside, and then try to everything in the dough. That is my meditation.
Okay, because I can understand it now. You're in a zone when you make udon, when you roll udon. You have to, because it takes like 15 to 20 minutes of hard work. Yeah. But I guess you don't notice it because you're in the zone.
Yeah, there are people, even in Japan, there's someone making noodle in the glass, people watching, that kind. But I a little bit tired for that when I was a chef, with talking with the people or showing something, explain where they come from, always. So now hiding noodle like a meditation.
Yeah, because you're right. Other people, when they do handmade noodle or dumpling, they're like in the fishbowl. They're right behind the plexiglass or behind the glass display, rolling and making noodle. You let people watch for entertainment, for free publicity, but for you, it's very personal.
It become like that, yeah.
So tell me, you spend so much time and energy making udon. So when people order this, what do you hope they get from it?
I want people finish everything, noodle and the soup. I'm always watching the bowls. Yeah, if they finish, I am so happy, yeah.
I love that. So really, you, even if you're back in the kitchen, you do take a peek to make sure they finish the bowl.
Yes, always watch it.
That's great. Chef, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you for find this small place.
That was Chef Ryuji Miyata of Azuki in Madison Valley. His udon is premier. But if you're looking for a more casual meal, there are plenty of options around the region. I'll give you some recommendations after the break. Okay, we're back in the studio, and I'm with Lucy, one of the producers of Seattle Eats.
Hey, Ton.
Hey, Lucy. So I want to talk a little bit more about Azuki and talk about other udon spots around town. But first, what did you think? You got the noodles to go. How was it?
I did. Yeah, I took them home separately, broth in one cup, noodles in the other. And I warmed them up like probably 4 or 5 hours later, and they were still chewy and still intact, which I feel like is kind of rare for udon noodles.
Yeah, that's an aberration. And I should tell listeners out there that this is not the experience you would get at most udon places, because udon, they don't hold a shape well, and when you get to go, they turn mushy, like kanji in texture. And that shows you what a master noodle maker he is, because this should not be happening where it holds its shape. It's still firm when it sits in the broth for like literally 20, 30 minutes. Yeah. And that's just amazing. Yeah. It's like it's coated in Gore-Tex or something.
Okay, so we spent a lot of time with Chef Miyata at Azuki. But there are udon places all over Seattle. So what are some of the other ones that stood out to you?
I'm so glad you asked that, Lucy, because I would say there's a range of udon restaurants. One is like Onibaba in the ID. And another class that I would put in there is Marugame in Tukwila and Udon on Capitol Hill in the U District. Different experiences here, Lucy. Onibaba is sort of like a traditional Japanese noodle house. It's served scalding hot to a point where you can't really even slurp it until it cools down. And this is a good litmus test about someone who's been in Japan and someone who hasn't. Because when it's served to you, if you've never been to Japan, you just sit there and you stare at it. It's like, this is too hot. I can't sip this. But if you're from Japan and you know how this is done, you dive right in and you slurp it. Because when you slurp it, it cools it down. But we in the United States don't do that because it's considered gross or weird. But that's a way to do it. Because in Japan, you want the noodle piping hot. That's when you have the full flavor. You don't want the fat to congeal.
Okay, I've never heard that, but that makes so much sense.
Yeah. Onibaba is what you would get in Japan. It's pretty minimalist. It's just a comfort food.
Mm-hmm. And then udon, the other one you mentioned, I've actually been to it because it's across from the KUOW office in the U District. So I get it for lunch sometimes, and I feel like, it's counter service. It seems like it's more geared towards takeout than some of the others.
Yeah. And I would put this in another category. Udon and Marugame are fast casual. Udon is a local chain, like Dick's Burger. Marugame is more like In-N-Out Burger, a famous chain known around the world. When they opened last year in Tukwila, lines were 2 blocks long. It's fast and as cheap as $12. Azuki is twice as much, but it's a different kind of experience. I mean, you wouldn't compare a burger at Dick's to a half-pound Wagyu burger at a high-end steakhouse. Same here. Azuki is like that high-end steakhouse of udon. So it's a different experience, and I ask listeners to just keep an open mind and don't freak out over the price and realize you're eating or you're slurping one of the best udon noodles, I think, in this region. Not just the Western Washington, but this Northwest region.
So he has 18 dishes at Azuki. Which ones have you tried and which ones are your favorite?
Oh, I think I love I call it his chicken noodle soup. Even though it's a dashi fishy broth, it has so much chicken fat and flavor that I think easily that is one of my favorite noodle soups in this city. You can also try his dry noodle. It's served like you would see a pasta dish. Without the soup, just a sauce and seafood.
Oh, that sounds really good. And then for these others, do you have any tips or tricks for udon or marugame in terms of like what to order or what would be the best?
Lucy, I would say for fast casual, this is how you want to play it. Because remember, when it comes to udon fast food, it's set up cafeteria style. So you line up, it's like an assembly line. And you do want to stop by the tempura station, which is a deep fried station, very similar to those heat lamps with the chicken tenders that you would find at gas station. They will have like 5 to 10 different deep fried nachos or snacks like tempura shrimp, which is always a bestseller. But they'll have chicken tenders and other seafood and deep fried veggies. And you want to get maybe 3 to 5 of these things. And when you get to your seat, and this is where there's a cultural difference, Lucy, because usually if you're American, you treat it like French fries, and it's like a side, and you keep it on the side to keep it crispy. But if you're from Japan or from Asia, what you usually like to do is you just dump that deep fried shrimp right onto the bowl, and it's like a sponge. It'll absorb the flavor. And another trick that people don't realize with these fast casual is, at the tempura station, there's like usually a bowl of just tempura flake, which is just basically deep fried batter. And it's free. It's complimentary. And what you do, and especially the kids, the younger crowd, they like to dump their bowl with a whole bunch of these tempura flakes. Because what that does, it just changes the texture. And besides, the price is right. It's free. The other thing I would say, when you go to some of these udon and marugame chain, the line looks really long. Do not be intimidated. It's because you're not used to seeing a cafeteria assembly line setup, but it moves really fast. That's it for today. We have a list of all the restaurants we talked about in the description of this episode. This was an archive of our udon episode produced by Lucy Soup Chef. Thanks for listening to Seattle Eats. The show is a production of the Seattle Times and KUOW, part of the NPR network. Want to make sure you never miss an episode of Seattle Eats? Hit the follow button on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, NPR, or wherever you listen. You'll get notified whenever we have a new show. And while you're there, consider giving us a rating. You'll help others discover Seattle Eats and support the podcast. Seattle Eats is produced by Brandy Fullwood and edited by Jim Gates and Trevor Lensmeyer. I'm Ton Vin. See you next week.